Our national debt is over $37 trillion now. Is it time to panic? Well, let's take a look at where we've been before. Here's a graph of our national debt as a percentage of GDP as a function of time. The graph is provided by the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, and I added some emphasis for the axes and the markers. The big spike from the 1940s is World War II. That war was too expensive for us to pay for all at once, but we did an excellent job of paying off the war bonds over the next 30 years. By 1975, our national debt was down to 30% of GDP, and I think that was excellent. But now take a look at the other side of the graph. We're back to where we were at the height of our wartime spending. What happened? The most recent spike in government borrowing was the COVID epidemic. Most economists believe this was completely justified because the pandemic was so disruptive to ordinary production. Okay, the jump around 2008 was the financial crisis, which is also known as the Great Recession. Again, most economists believe this was justified to keep us out of another Great Depression. Now, what about this rise from 30% to 65% of GDP over the 15 years from 1980 to 1995? We had no major crisis then. We just didn't want to pay enough taxes to cover government spending. Harry Figge wrote this book, Bankruptcy 1995, to warn us about what would happen if we stayed on the same trend of just borrowing more and more and more money relative to the GDP. Figge was a member of the Grace Commission under President Reagan. This commission was supposed to improve government efficiency so that we could get the debt under control without raising taxes. Well, we can see that didn't work very well. Figge's book was published in 1992, and I'm happy to see that we did get the debt under control, at least for a few years. So we can do it. Figge's main point was that when the debt is high enough that we have to borrow money just to make the interest payments, then we're basically bankrupt. And the interest payments are the most important factor in why the national debt matters. Americans really don't like paying high taxes. The more debt we have, the more interest we have to pay, and the more interest we have to pay, the higher the taxes have to be. Currently, interest payments are about 16% of all federal spending. This is not panic territory, as I see it, but it's still a lot of money. It's over $1 trillion. I believe it would be a good idea to pay off the crisis spending and head downward toward a debt level of around 50% of GDP, as we did after World War II. Why 50%? Well, I don't mean for that to be an exact target, but I do believe we're going to have more crises in the future. We'll have something equivalent to the 2008 crisis and the pandemic. At that time, we were prepared to borrow more money because we weren't paying that much interest on the debt. Now we're not so prepared. But we can fix that, and I think we should fix it. We should be paying down the debt at a gentle level now, because paying a few more taxes now will save a lot of money paying off those taxes in the future. Thank you for watching.